Good afternoon, Year 4s. Welcome to today's art lesson. So today our learning objective is to design an image inspired by the Bauhaus movement. And the big question is, how can I design in the Bauhaus style? So our success criteria is, I know what the Bauhaus movement is. I know some geometric shapes, and I can create a pattern using shape and color. Okay, so have a think about the big question. And do you remember what the Bauhaus movement is? So we did have a look at that in the first few lessons of art this term. So just pause the video and go back and have a think about what that was. Okay, so Bauhaus movement is the geometric abstract style featuring little sentiment or emotion. So if you think back to when we looked at some examples, there were a lot of geometric shapes, so circles and squares, lines, that were put together without showing emotion. So you couldn't really tell if the picture was a happy or sad picture. Okay, and then geometric means shapes and lines. And then pattern is repeating certain images or color. So these are our vocabulary, our key vocabulary words that we're gonna have to think about during this lesson. Okay, so do you remember who designed weave patterns using the Bauhaus movement for inspiration? Okay, so do you remember what her name is? Okay, if you do, it was Günther Stölzer, and she was one of the first people to do weaving in the style of the Bauhaus movement. Okay, so last week we looked at weaving and how we would weave with paper. This week we're going to be looking at designing our own design with inspiration of the Bauhaus movement. So using lots of geometric shapes and color. So I'm just going to show you a few examples. So this is the first example. So you can see there's lots of triangles, circles, little circles, semicircles. This one's got a lot of line. And you can see that in this picture, there's a lot of color being repeated and a lot of shape being repeated as well. Okay, and then this one is also using lots of lines. Same colors are being repeated, different shapes. Okay, and this one as well. So certain colors are being used and certain shapes and patterns also being repeated. Okay, and this one's got a little bit more detail, but also you can see lots of geometric shapes and lots of different colors as well. So if you'd like to Google some more designs of the Bauhaus movement, then you may do so safely. Just type into Google Bauhaus geometric designs and more will come up. But today I'd like you to just have a look at these pictures that I've just shown you and think about some inspiration that you could use for your design. So the lesson is for all stars is to design a geometric pattern inspired by the Bauhaus movement. And I would like you to send your designs to us via email or Teams. So think about our DT lesson that we did yesterday. We also had to design a greenhouse. So designing is always about planning something that you're going to create. So you're going to plan and design a picture. So if you're going to do it on a piece of paper at home, that's fine. If you'd rather draw it by hand, that's absolutely fine. And then you can just send it to us via the email. If you'd like to do it on Teams, there is an assignment where you can actually draw the patterns onto a Word document and then send that to us as well. But it's completely up to you how you would prefer to do your design. Okay, so I'm just going to show you an example. So whether you were doing it on paper or on Microsoft Word, it doesn't matter either way. But you could go to the Shapes tab in Word, or you could obviously use your ruler at home to draw your pictures and your shapes. So you might want to draw a long rectangle and then maybe a smaller one inside that. And obviously if you're going to be doing a circle, that's absolutely fine. You just do that freehand. Remember, art is really creative, so you need to do what works for you. If you're going to get too frustrated doing it on a Word document and you'd rather do it by hand, that's absolutely fine. Okay, then I might want to use some line. Just remember, it's geometric shapes are shapes and line. Okay, so I would like you to kind of just be inspired by what you've seen. So I might want to do a triangle this way and repeat that 3 times. And then I'm going to do another circle here and then another circle inside like that. Okay, so that will be like my design that I've chosen. And then you can obviously color it in at home if you've got some colors, or if you're doing it on the Word document, you can also explore how to add color to your shape. So if I had to use color here, I might want to use red over there, and then I'd like to maybe use yellow for my circles, and I'll use yellow for that circle. Then maybe change my color for that circle. So I'm just thinking about what is repeating. So I've got a lot of shapes repeating, and I've also got a lot of colors repeating. So I might want to put my triangles in green. And then have a think about maybe your background. So your background might be white. You might have a lot more detail than me as well in your background. Maybe I'd like to do it blue. So you're going to have a think about this. So use the Bauhaus movement for inspiration. Think about the shapes that you know, think about the lines that you know, and think about the pictures that you can create with line. And then have a go and then send it to us, because I know that you all love art and I'd like you to be creative when doing this. So whatever, like I said, whatever you're more comfortable with, whether it's drawing it on Word document or on paper, it's completely up to you. But I really am looking forward to seeing all of your amazing artwork. So have fun and enjoy this lesson.